Today is Monday, July 10th, 2017, and this is the ServiceMonster Show. Today we'll talk about Joel Embiid's fine for his inappropriate language on Twitter, our policy on social media accounts within the company itself, and Mobile 3 users, you get a new update today. This week in social media. So a story that ran across my path I found interesting. Basketball NBA player Joel Embiid gets fined $10,000 for inappropriate language, basically attacking another player's dad. Now, they've gone back and forth over the years. I don't understand why the other guy got hit too. Joel started this particular, but man, that's what Twitter's for. Talking smack to each other's and celebrities, and every once in a while they come back. Haven't you ever watched mean tweets? Like that's a great little YouTube clip. And I'm not a fan of this. You know, when you are starting to bleed your personal life into your business life, things get a little gray. And as business owners and entrepreneurs, like, we put ourselves there on purpose. But as an employee, I mean, I understand he's a representative of the game, but where does that stop? How much policing of your social media do you do? It's kind of troubling a little bit in my mind. I'm interested to see how this all resolves in the long run. Our first July webinar here is coming up. Tomorrow, 12 o'clock Pacific. We'll be talking about drip campaigns, so you'll want to be there. And hey, Jaden Smith, can you please stop spamming everybody? This whole thing was spam to begin with. Don't copy and paste that message and send it to me. I don't care. I'm going to ignore it. You're actually spreading the hoax by passing that thing along. So please stop. This week in ServiceMonster. So I thought I'd share a little bit on our social policies and how we handle social media within the organization. Because as you guys know, it's a very important part of what we do. Obviously, we have the shows that we do, and Justin pretty much just points a camera in my direction and edits it and makes me look like a star. But the rest of it, right, we have SMUG, the ServiceMonster user group, and we have a handful of managers who actually participate there. Some of our QA team pays attention there, and I have a handful of our development staff paying attention so they can feel your pain. So basically our policy breaks down like this. If you're going to participate in social media for ServiceMonster, you need an account set up that has a ServiceMonster email address. So yeah, it's essentially a burner account or a duplicate account. And I'm sure that Facebook has a handful of accounts that are like that, especially in their 2 billion list of users. So I'm sure that there's some users there that are both regular people and then kind of persona accounts for employees or employers. That way, if they were to leave the organization, we can shut the account down or transfer it to somebody else. We can also control the messaging on that particular platform. I don't want to try to control my employee social media. If one of my engineers decides he wants to go do a shit hits the fan end of world zombie apocalypse podcast with some friends of his, it has no bearing on ServiceMonster at all. But if they're doing social media with clients, and then those clients would go look in their personal profile, you can see where that gets a little fuzzy. So instead, they have a work profile, and you can hack that and look at that and dive into that all day long. That's going to be, meant specifically for building relationships with people inside the industry. And with an account, we can control. So that's basically our general guidelines. I would suggest if you are going to have employees that participate on social media, you follow the same guidelines, because you don't want necessarily what they do in their personal space to bleed over and vice versa. So keeping that nice firewall there is a good idea generally. ServiceMonster updates. So last Monday, we released 6.0.122, included a giant set of features. We've heard good things and have heard nothing, which is also a great thing. I think a lot of you guys may be holding your breath a little bit, but we haven't had any negative reports or things that we did that pissed you guys off, so I'm quite happy about that. Lots of things were fixed in that release. If you haven't looked at it in a while, I would encourage you to go take a look at this one. It's pretty impressive. We did some things in the UI that I'm not necessarily a fan of, but from a usability perspective is pretty great, such as the labels on the main menus on the left-hand side. I know I can see and know exactly what it is because I invented the damn thing, but now you've got labels, so now you can see where you're at, and hopefully that muscle memory will build in later so you can figure out where to go depending on the shape of the icon. Mobile 3.6.6 should be released today. They finished testing it over the weekend. We had a release on, I think it was Thursday or Wednesday, I can't remember. It didn't go well. There was some weirdness to it for sure. You can still do what you need to do. There's still a handful of paths that work well. There was something weird in the build, and I know a handful of people that downloaded that, especially on Android, seem to have a little bit of trouble. So this patch is to fix that and a couple of the other issues that were pointed out. Apologize for that. They're working on smoothing out that QA process. They tested the app thoroughly, and when it was pushed to release, there was some differences. So I've been on them last week pretty hard about making sure they resolve those differences so crap like that doesn't happen in the future. You also get 6.0.123 by the end of the week. We're doing a little pause before we release 6.1. I want to make sure that 1.2.2 is meeting your guys' needs and satisfaction. We also made a huge improvement in the server side for timeout and lagging and that kind of thing. So I'm really excited. The logs look very clean from last week. And again, I haven't heard any negative feedback or time delays, anything from the sales staff or the support staff. From everyone here at ServiceMonster, thank you so much for paying attention. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go check out the demo. Give us a call.